What is going on, everybody? It's the Franz, and we're here for a SmackDown review for August the 6th, 2021. But before we get to SmackDown, we have breaking news as more talent have been released by WWE. This time from the NXT brand, and some are a shocker. First up, Bronson Reed, the former North American champion, who just a couple of weeks ago, along with the NXT champion himself, were doing dark matches for the big wigs, Vince McMahon and all them, and now he's released. He's gone. He's not coming back. Next up, Bobby Fish. Bobby Fish, of course, was part of the Undisputed Era. Once that broke up and that was done, they really didn't do anything with Bobby Fish. I'm not surprised about this. He is a lot older than most talent who come in, so not a surprise there. Leon Ruff, who, when I first saw Leon Ruff, he was a jobber on Raw, and I thought it was WWE taking shots at Leo Rush, because the names are sort of similar, okay? And this is the biggest shocker other than Bronson Reed. Tyler Rust. He's not a big name, but they just debuted the Diamond Mine, a month and a half ago with Malcolm Bivens, Roderick Strong, that Japanese trainer, and Tyler Rust. So, can someone explain to me why Tyler Rust is already gone from NXT? So, what happens to Diamond Mine? You had this entire thing, and now it's gone. I don't know what you got to say about that. Jake Atlas, also gone. Another shocker there, even though I don't think he's been doing that much. Mercedes Martinez. Mercedes. You remember 2019's All Out, the first All Out pay-per-view when they did the Casino Battle Royal? Who was the wild card in that match? Oh, that's right, I believe it was Mercedes Martinez. She used that to go sign a contract with WWE, do almost absolutely nothing there, maybe a couple title matches here and there, come up, be part of the original, be a part of Retribution before she went back down to NXT, did a few things with Robert Stone brand, and then nothing. Gee, Mercedes, imagine if you would have taken up a deal with AEW and signed with them. The women's division would be a little bit better than it is now, and you'd be able to go work Ring of Honor, maybe. You'd be able to go work Impact Wrestling. You'd be able to go work anywhere you want to work. Everyone other than that, Asher Hale, no idea. Giant Zangier, no idea. Zekiah Smith. And then Kona Reeves. You remember the finest Kona Reeves? The guy who came out, every time he would come out, he'd be the finest, but he would have some kind of different gimmick. That Kona Reeves. How this guy, with all the firings that have happened this year, how this guy hasn't been fired up until now was very surprising. How this guy made it to 2021 a part of WWE is absolutely amazing. Because he just didn't have it. There was nothing special about Kona Reeves. But I think he has some kind of relation to the Onawari family. I could be wrong there. Because that's the only thing I can think of, is that he was a part of that family. And that's why he got opportunity after opportunity. And then you had Aries Sterling, no idea. Referee Stefan Smith have all been released. So, Bronson Reed, Bobby Fish, Tyler Rust, Jake Atlas, and Mercedes Martinez are the 5 most shocking releases in WWE. But you're going to get a lot of that. The fact that you had Bronson Reed coming up to the main roster and doing dark matches, which you had your champion in NXT doing the same thing, he goes on to be a loser on Raw, and Bronson Reed is out of a job. Well, we all know everybody who's been released by NXT has a 30-day no-compete clause. No, I don't think everyone and anybody who needs to could come to AEW. AEW is already getting in probably CM Punk, Daniel Bryan, Bryan Danielson, and Ruby Soho, a.k.a. Ruby Riott. They don't need to be hiring everybody under the sun. Impact Wrestling just lost Kiera Hogan. They can have Mercedes Martinez go there probably and work there. I hope these guys all land on the feet. Bobby Fish, I don't know. That guy has been around. He's a lot older. Maybe he goes and retires. Who knows? Yeah, I think his last match was what, against Roderick Strong this past Tuesday? But anyway, that is the news, the breaking news on a dozen or so talent from NXT getting released. Of course, they all got the same thing. It's budget cuts, which I call bullshit. You're not going to be really trimming not much budget by releasing NXT talent. NXT talent's making almost nothing compared to main roster talent. But sucks to be all these guys. Bobby Fish, the thing about Bobby Fish is he's been in NXT around the same time Adam Cole came in, which was 2017, 4 years ago. There's nothing else, and they're not going to bring Bobby Fish up. Bobby Fish would come up to the main roster and do absolutely fucking nothing. He'd be chasing after the 24/7 title. He would be in catering. He'd probably be in backstage segments doing nothing. Probably doing his air kicks to train for whatever reason. And that was it. You wouldn't see Bobby Fish do jack shit. So Bobby Fish is gone. Bronson Reed was a real surprise because, again, they had this guy doing dark matches to now being released. What that's going to do for NXT? NXT just, who cares about NXT? Nobody cares about NXT. Vince McMahon clearly does not care about NXT. So, yeah, that's that. But let's get on to SmackDown, as SmackDown was not a really good show. You had Balor versus Corbin in pretty much the main event match. Vega versus Bianca Belair, because Bianca Belair, in a championship contenders match, Nakamura took on Apollo Cruz in a championship contenders match. The Street Profits returned in tag team action against Bobby Roode and Dolph Ziggler, instead of, continuing the feud that they had with the Alpha Academy. But I guess that ended after the Rolling Loud. I guess that was a way to clear that up. So, Sasha Banks comes down there in the Amalie Arena in Tampa, Florida, as Michael Cole welcomes these peers. He's joined at ringside with Pat McAfee. Of course, they're in the home of the Tampa Bay Lightning. Trust me, Pat McAfee referenced that at least 4 times tonight. Banks says she's back, and it means it's boss time on SmackDown. She says she came back for a spotlight she deserves. Some fans boo. Banks says the spotlight she created and promises she will never let anyone steal that spotlight again. She shows a video package of what happened last week. She says she exposed Belair last week, and it was so easy. She's been watching Belair make mistakes for weeks. Says Belair would be nothing without her. There would be no ESPY award, no chilling with Megan Thee Stallion, a.k.a. the fucking skank that Bianca Belair was hanging with over the weekend. And no WrestleMania 37 main event. Banks says Belair cried before the match at WrestleMania because she was standing across from greatness. Anyone else would have thanked her, but Belair didn't. She was grateful at all. She wasn't grateful at all. Banks sat at home and thought about the disrespect each week, so she came back to WWE for one thing: to make Belair pay. And on cue, out comes Bianca Belair. Of course, she swings her hair on the stage. She says Banks won't be standing or talking when she comes to get into the ring. Dismisses the idea that she'd be nothing without Banks, and reminds Banks now she begged Belair to pick her after she won the Royal Rumble so they could headline WrestleMania. Belair says Banks just got what doesn't want her to shine, but she's been shining and representing. I beg to differ. You have not been shining or representing. Your fucking title reign has been atrocious since you won the championship. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Enters the rings, Banks rolls out, and Belair taunts her and asks her if she's going to take another 4 months off. Banks, standing on top of the announce table, says she can do whatever she wants when she wants because when you're a legend, Belair says Banks is one of the greatest to lace him up, and says if she wants a title, it's on. Out comes Zelina Vega. She says this is not happening. Belair taunts Banks, and she has entered the ring. Belair says she will see Banks at SummerSlam, and she'll face Bianca Belair Zelina Vega tonight. So there's that. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know why anyone thinks that Zelina Vega has any right to ask for a title match or even be in title contention. She came back 2 or 3 weeks before the Money in the Bank pay-per-view and has lost match after match after match after match. She hasn't won a match since she's come back, yet she thinks she should be women's champion, that she has earned a women's championship match. No, not gonna fly. I'm sorry. Just no. Fuck that bullshit. Just bullshit after bullshit after bullshit. There's just no goddamn reason to have Zelina Vega come out here and think that she even comes close. Toni Storm beat her. Where the fuck has Toni Storm been? Tegan Nox and Shotzi Blackheart. They both beat the tag team champions. Maybe they should have a one-on-one match with the winner getting a title shot against Bianca Belair, because they have a better claim of being women's champion than Zelina Vega even comes close to. I really want to know what WWE's logic is to Zelina Vega getting a women's championship opportunity. Even a championship contenders match. I don't fucking get it. But that is how WWE likes to roll. So we get a show replay of Rey Mysterio's win over Jey Uso last week. Jimmy Uso, Rey Mysterio's backstage with Dominic. Now as Dom prepares for his match with Jey. Rey goes on about how they can't afford to lose as they try to keep momentum going into SummerSlam because Rey wants to bring the SmackDown titles back to the family. Dom says he won't let Rey down and he's confident he can beat Jey. So we go on to this match, which again is the millionth time these two teams have faced each other in one way or another. I mean, can we not get something else? Can we not get something else? I know this is the match at the pay-per-view. Can we not have Dominic Mysterio go up against somebody else and have the Usos on commentary? No. We have to go with this match. Dominic ends up blocking a Samoan drop and dropping Jey with a neck breaker on his own. Jey kicks out at 2. Dom with a springboard moonsault, more back and forth. Dom sends Jey face first into the turnbuckle. Dominic drops Jey for the 619 but wastes some time as he fans cheer him on. He's making rookie mistakes. He's playing up to the crowd. He's not paying attention fully into the match. He goes up top. Jimmy looks to interfere, but Jey drops him at ringside with a senton. Dominic goes for the big splash, but he goes and looks over at his dad and Jimmy. Jey takes advantage, hits a super kick, then goes up top, hits the big Uso splash. 1, 2, 3. Jey Uso is your winner. Obviously, I think this is going to go the way I thought it was going to go going into WrestleMania this year until they went a complete 180 and they didn't even appear on WrestleMania. It felt like coming into this year they were building to Dom and Rey Mysterio having a match. Of course, that didn't happen. They kind of put the brakes on it. But, Rey Mysterio in this was pushing his son to, be better, be more strategic and be better at this. And you're making rookie mistakes. And it feels like eventually we're going to get that Dom versus Rey Mysterio match. Battle of the Mysterio family. We see what happened with Hall of Famer Edge last week with Seth Rollins. Edge is walking backstage when Megan Romance stops in. Edge talks about Rollins and calls him a rotten, selfish bastard. He says when Rollins arrives tonight, he will show Rollins what a rotten, selfish bastard he can be. So that is going to be a segment later in the night. Championship contenders match: Apollo Cruz versus King Shinsuke Nakamura. It didn't take long, though, but Rick Boogs is fucking over. He comes out, he plays a little bit, and he says, "My name is Rick." And the crowd all together says, "Boogs." This dude's over. We all knew it was going to be over. Good on him. I'm sure Vince McMahon is going to... here's the thing. Vince McMahon it's over with the crowd. The crowd is loving Rick Boogs. Something tells me that very soon Rick Boogs will be leaving his partnership with Nakamura because we can't have nice things in WWE. So, John Cena's announced for next week because we have to announce John Cena every single week. So you can get those people watching the TV show. What is WWE going to do when John Cena is no longer around? Because it's coming. You know John Cena will not be here after SummerSlam, which is, again, why are we even getting this title match when we know it's not going to happen? But again, we had Apollo Crews versus Nakamura. Number one contenders match, number one championship contenders match, because last week, in a 6-person tag match, Apollo Crews was pinned by Nakamura. And I'm thinking to myself, you had a 6-person tag match. Big E, Cesaro, Nakamura, Roode, and Ziggler, right? I believe that was it. Why can, instead of having a championship contenders match, where the champion is most likely probably going to lose, why can't we have the 5 men, or since Roode and Ziggler won a tag team match, why can't we have Big E versus Cesaro versus Shinsuke Nakamura in this spot? The winner goes to SummerSlam to face Apollo Crews. How hard is this? I hate championship contenders matches because champions should not be losing unless you're going to give it the title. Unless it makes sense. This shit just doesn't make any sense. AEW, do you see champions losing every fucking time they have a singles match, or every time with the few times they wrestle? Because champions don't wrestle that often on AEW TV. Dark, Rampage, Wednesday night, Dark Elevation. They're not, unless the title is on the line or they're in a big hype match, champions usually do not wrestle. So why is Apollo Crews wrestling tonight against Nakamura? It would be one thing if there was not 5 other people wanting to get an Intercontinental title shot. Yet, here we are. We have to go with a championship contenders match instead of a 5-way or a triple threat match, which Big E versus Nakamura versus Cesaro would be way better than a champions contenders match. I'm just saying. The match was okay. Apollo Crews loses by disqualification because Nakamura drops Cruz for a 2 count as Boogs looks on. Nakamura with a big knee and a roundhouse kick. Cruz on his knees. Nakamura covers, but Aziz pulls him out of the ring for the disqualification. After the match, Nakamura fights Cruz in the ring and sends him into Aziz, knocking him off the apron. Boogs plays his guitar at ringside as Nakamura joins him, and the music starts back up. Cruz sees in the ring as Aziz joins him. Of course, then we go backstage and Kayla Braxton is wanting to get a word with Roman Reigns. We get a commercial break, we come back. We get a video package of last week's SummerSlam contract signing, which should not be valid at all because it was a guy's... Finn Balor's name was on there and Cena signed the contract. That's not how that should work. I can't go out there and sign a contract and put it... I can't go out and sign a contract with somebody else's name on it and think that would be valid. It's just fucking stupid. Of course, Paul Heyman's out and is like, what? And of course, he goes about Cena getting in the match and then he gets some heat by knocking Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Heyman says the SummerSlam contract is a joke and the claim of Cena challenging Reigns at SummerSlam is meritless. And WWE is acting as the ultimate enabler by allowing Cena to slide his way into a title shot he doesn't deserve, says the Tribal Chief has nothing to say about Cena or to Kayla. He says that if he's not in the mood, turns around and runs into Big E, who is smiling and holding his briefcase by his face. And Heyman just looks disturbed as he gets back into Roman Reigns' locker room. Big E needs to keep that briefcase and be traded to Raw to take on Bobby Lashley and beat Bobby Lashley for the WWE Championship. That's how that needs to work. So back from break, and it's announced that Vega vs. Belair is a championship contenders match and not a title match. And we go to Women's Tag Team Champions Tamina Snuka versus Tegan Nox. By the way, Tegan gets to keep her full name while Shotzi Blackheart lost her last name. Somebody explain that one to me. Is Vince McMahon just that stupid? That's my question. Is Vince McMahon just that stupid? He can't be that serious. So, as we know, Miss Natalya was injured a couple weeks ago. 2 weeks ago on Raw. And she's going to be out for the foreseeable future. She fucked her ankle up. And WWE decides that, we're supposed to find out what the status of the titles are going to be on Monday. And then nothing happens. We get no status, no nothing. And WWE just lets Tamina hold both titles, I guess, until but nobody cares about these tag team titles. Nobody. WWE clearly doesn't care, and you give no reason for the fans to care. So Tegan Nox and had a boring, pathetic match with Tamina. Tamina does not do well as a singles competitor. Tamina blocks the Shining Wizard. Tamina with a big super kick ends up firing. She had Tegan Nox up on her shoulder for the Samoan drop. Shotzi accidentally fires one of the projectiles into the ring, allowing Nox to capitalize on the distraction. Roll Tamina up for the pin and the win. Why? Tamina sees and Tegan and Shotzi celebrate. Anna Pierce and Sonya Deville backstage with Vega. Vega just wants to know when she's getting her women's title shot. They say because Belair accepted a challenge earlier doesn't mean Vega gets a title shot tonight. Deville says Belair doesn't make the title shots around here. She does. They tell Vega just go back to SmackDown. She just got back to SmackDown, which is bullshit. She's been around for a month and a half. But if she does well tonight, she can challenge for the winner of Sasha Banks vs. Belair at SummerSlam. Vega is confident in her chances as she walks out. I'm not confident in her chances whatsoever. Edge comes out to the ring and he thanks the Tampa crowd, says Seth Rollins is nowhere near here tonight, but that's a good of Edge because with what he plans to do to Rollins, Edge would end up in jail. Edge was willing to let the past be the past until Rollins cost him the title at Money in the Bank. He mentions how it's looking in a mirror of his past when he looks at Rollins. Edge knows Rollins, and he says that he won't end well for one of them, but it has to end. And if Rollins was here tonight, it would end. Rollins appears on the screen now via satellite laughing. He knocks, which of course means backstage. He knocks Edge and says Edge is right when he says they are a lot alike. They are drawn together in this inevitable dance, but that's where the similarities end because if the ultimate opportunist was half the man the architect is, he know you always have to have a plan B, which was the saying that that Triple H said when Seth Rollins turned on the Shield. Rollins laughs some more and says he has a plan B. How about me and you, first time ever, one-on-one at SummerSlam? Fans pop and Rollins tells Edge to cool his jets. Rollins goes on about how he has Edge wrapped around his finger and says he calls the shots. Not Edge. Rollins says he thinks about the SummerSlam match because he has a lot going on. It says while he's thinking over, maybe Edge should also think it over. About what he's getting himself into. Rollins taunts Edge about his neck and says his comeback will probably be over after this. Imagine what I could do to somebody who's had the neck not fused once, not twice, but 3 times. And yeah, his career would be over. I don't know how much of a man you will be for your wife or your kids after this. Edge gets pissed off. They get heated. Edge says at the end of the day, Rollins is just an Edge light. The infuriates Rollins. He says he's better than Edge in every way, and Edge knows it. Rollins says Edge is on for SummerSlam. Edge looks on, smiling in the ring as Edge's music hits, and the fans cheer on. Kayla Braxton is backstage with Finn Balor now. She goes to speak, but Balor interrupts and tells her to stop. He's not in the good mood and says he was so close to signing his SummerSlam contracts last week for the Universal title match. But Baron stuck his nose where it doesn't belong. Balor says Corbin should only worry about him minding his own business and staying out of Balor's. Balor says that Corbin wants to get back on his feet. He needs to learn to have honor and integrity, which Balor will teach about the hard way tonight. Balor says when he's done with that, he has a bone to pick with John Cena for last week's contract signing. Street Profits vs. Rude and Ziggler. This match lasted about 2 minutes. Spinebuster Frog Splash. That will do it. Nothing else you can say there we haven't seen already before. But yeah, that match, I literally swear, I turned around to look something on my computer, turned back around, and the match was over. What else can I say? More stuff with Bianca Belair and that skank known as Megan Thee Stallion. Who gives a shit? Number 1 championship contenders match, Bianca Belair versus Zelina Vega. Again, someone explain to me why Vega gets a championship contenders match. What has she done? Oh, that's right. She lost against Liv Morgan. She lost against Toni Storm. She lost at Money in the Bank. She lost against she lost. She has lost every single match she's been in. So, why should I give a shit about this match? Bianca Belair is whipping her ass for the beginning of this match. Sasha Banks comes out to distract. It works for a minute, and then they come back from break. Bianca Belair wins with the KOD. Not much else you can say. This match was pathetic. Balor versus Corbin. Corbin comes out. He's like, hold on, man, hold on. I need to apologize for last week. I'm desperate, man. I'm desperate. I hate this. I hate the storyline. I hate it all. It doesn't make any sense that you're going to try and get me to believe that Baron Corbin, who makes millions of dollars working for Titan Tower, working for Vince McMahon, is somehow in the poorhouse and isn't paid enough to be able to keep the lights on. Give me a break. I don't buy it. Never going to. He says, what happened last week wasn't cool, but he's desperate. He says he wants to help and says he's sorry. Balor says apologies not accepted. And then he royally kicks his ass. Coup de grace, 1, 2, 3, and that's that. So Corbin rolls to the floor. Balor takes the mic and says 3 years ago he would have smiled and took what happened last week, but Finn isn't smiling. He says he wants to face Roman Reigns for the Universal title, and if he has to go through John Cena to do it, that's what he's willing to do. Finn says the name, place, and time because out comes Roman Reigns. Roman makes his way and stops at the entrance, raises the title, comes into the ring, and then we go to commercial break because we got to get those bills paid. Hold on here. So, Reigns says Heyman already addressed his position last week, contract signing. He can understand why Finn is upset and why he's out here running his mouth about Cena, but he must understand that Reigns tried to help him and give him an opportunity. Tells Balor that when he comes out to Reigns the show, keep Roman's name out of your mouth. Roman tosses the mic at him, turns the exit, but Balor comes behind and shoves him out of the ring. Of course, Mr. Roman Reigns lands on his feet. Balor is telling him to come back in the ring. Let's settle this now. Roman looks to come into the ring, but here comes the Usos from behind. They beat on Finn Balor. Roman Reigns leaves, gets up to the ramp, but Finn Balor fights back, beats the hell out of both the Usos, and stands tall. Roman comes back, and then Roman beats the living fuck out of him. And then beats him down, and beats him down, and beats him down, and beats him down, and beats him down. Until they stand tall. He choked him out, of course, and that was the way the show went off the air. Not a very eventful episode of Monday Night SmackDown, because it did feel like SmackDown tonight. Monday Night Raw tonight. It just, I don't know. The WWE just doesn't care. We all know they don't. They just released a dozen more wrestlers tonight, but what can you do? The WWE it's a dying breed. NXT's dead. SmackDown's getting there too. And there's nothing more else I can say. But that is your SmackDown review. Hit that subscribe button, comment down below, like or dislike this video. Find me on Minds at the France Club. Find me on twitch.tv/the France Club. And find me on Instagram at the France Club. And I will see you guys Monday for Raw. Until then, my name is the France, and I'll see you guys later.